Hello chess friends, welcome back to our YouTube channel. So here's a great game. I'm recording this video for the third time, by the way. There were some technical issues, so I had to redo it and there we go. So here we go. This is today's position. White to play. This was played between Magnus Carlsen and Kotronias in 2004. 2004 was basically a very early time for Magnus. This was the early period of Carlsen's career, and at this point in particular, he was very sharp in tactics. He was just a monster when it comes to tactic. He was like a Tal or a Fisher, I think that's common in most of the young players. Even if you take Alireza or other players, Gukesh, they're very sharp, tactically very alert. So maybe that's something that's more related to youth. Although all of them are not that way. So a great game by Magnus, and you can see the quote above. It's by Danilov, and he says, "I see a great tactician in Magnus Carlsen, and the rest will come with time." So at this point, he was a great tactical monster. What does the rest include? The rest includes things like positional understanding, technical aspects of conversion of advantage, and that can wait and that can come much later on. The tactical abilities is what is more important in such a young player. So here we go. White to play. Find the brilliant genius tactic that Magnus found over here. I'll give you a few seconds. So think. Alright, hopefully you got enough time and you found the brilliant combination. It's seriously awesome. So here we go. The first move, knight takes on f6. This does not make sense at all until you see the continuation, and then it starts to make sense. So this shows what kind of a tactical genius Magnus Carlsen was at this point. Knight takes f6, so his opponent did not understand. He just captures back. And here comes the second blow. Rook takes on d6. Two pieces in a row are sacrificed by Magnus. So what happens? Well, in the game, king e7 was played. But you might ask what happens if we just capture, right? Problem is now queen takes on e3, attacks the rook, but dare you save your rook? Because if you do, let's say rook c7 or something, queen g5 is a checkmate. So let me just show you that. That's everything is covered. It's just brilliant. So you have to drop a rook over here, and you're dropping a lot of material after that. This guy is hanging, the king is vulnerable. It's too deadly, too horrible. I think rook takes h4 is necessary here, which just results into loss of material, and white is doing great. So after rook into d6, the second piece sacrifice. Turns out that black cannot capture this, otherwise he's dead lost. He has to play the move king to e7, and here's another move now. Rook takes on c6, basically giving up the rook for the bishop, but the point is you're going to get the bishop on e3 as well as you'll see an attack on the rook. It all comes with a tempo. So queen takes, now comes queen takes e3, that attacks the rook is more valuable than the bishop on c4. Also it comes with a check, right? When you capture the rook has to move. And here's a very clever play. f6 again, getting the tempo whatever he can. King goes over there. Now comes queen d3. Queen d3 protects the c2 pawn. King steps away. Bishop d5. So Magnus Carlsen just closes the line. The bishop, everything is solid. The bishop is greatly placed here. At some point if the queen moves, queen a6 can happen. This is a great position. I mean, it's completely winning. And black, actually, it's very tough. If a old, like currently he's I think 32 or something. If he plays this, he'll easily convert this with the tip of his fingers. But at this point, Magnus was too young at this point, and turns out that he messed up a little bit in the later part, and the game went on to be only a draw. It was only a draw, and if you look at the evaluation, it's just like +3, +4. White is completely winning. Obviously, he has too much of advantage in this position. So Magnus did mess up. His technical part was not as good as his tactical thing, but that's the thing about this court. He will catch up later with other things, but currently he's a great tactician. So knight into f6 is not an easy move to calculate. Followed by rook into d6, two pieces in a row. So that's just great, and you cannot capture because of this awesome double attack. To be honest, it's not easy to see this from the initial position. Obviously, once you understand the ideas, then it's quite easy. Then the rook is hanging, the king is kind of vulnerable. But to look at the position, and to have a sense that something is going to happen here. There is something in this position. If you're a tactical player, you get this tingling sense that something is happening over here. And that's how you know when to calculate, when to look for this tactic. You just feel it that something is wrong in this position. This is this feeling is very common in tactical players. You just know something is going to work out. Even Tal, he just felt the sacrifices. So knight into f6 is something that you don't naturally calculate. You have to feel that there is a tactic, and that's one sign of a great tactician. So what a great game by former world champion. It's funny to call him former world champion Magnus Carlsen, and a lovely quote by Dan I love over there. So hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for watching, and do subscribe to our YouTube channel.